Good morning once again, Anna. It's a beautiful morning here at the farm, still bright and early, and in front of me is one of the prunus species. It's Marabella plum, a small shrub about 20 feet tall in full flower against the bright blue sky. Just such a lovely sight. Many people confuse that with blackthorn. Blackthorn comes into flower sort of early April time and a little bit beyond that. And before that, most of the white blossom you'll see on shrubs out in the Norfolk countryside at this time of the year is the Marabella plum, and sometimes it crosses with other species as it has done here, and so it looks as though this hedgerow is dressed up as though it's going off to a wedding this morning, and this is bright pink flowers, I should say, against the blue background. A lovely sight. Now we're continuing our little walk around High Ash Farm, looking at some of the short day flowers. They're the ones that come into flower before the spring vernal equinox, we call it. And I've got my wellies on now, and I need to get down into the stream here. Lovely drop of water flowing. This stream has been dry. Oh, sit down on the bank on the other side and enjoy one of spring's early flowers. We talked about wild daffodils earlier in the programme, and William Wordsworth described those wandering, lonely. I just remembered the poem, and I wasn't very good at poetry, and suddenly the next line, a host of golden daffodils. And second in the list that William Wordsworth often talked about was actually his favourite spring flower, and that's the lesser celandine. And here on this damp edge to the stream I can see meadowsweet peeping through, and lots of bright yellow flowers, and he made such a lovely description of them. And I'm just going to hold the camera nice and close to this one, and it's absolutely stunning. This sunlight is reflecting off the petals, and William Wordsworth described this as bright as the sun himself. Such a lovely sight and absolutely beautiful. So it's in full flower at the moment, and more there now coming out into full flower. And so it's just such a lovely, it makes you really feel as though spring's arrived. Flowers for quite a long time, over a month, and these flowers on the south side of the stream, and the ones behind me on the north edge of the stream will come into flower in about 2 to 3 weeks' time. So William Wordsworth thought so much of this plant that it was decided it would be engraved on his tombstone. And unfortunately, there's another celandine species called greater celandine. It's a completely unrelated species, and that was the one that was carved on his tombstone. So, and celandine is a bit interesting because lesser celandine and greater celandine, we think the word comes from the Greek celidia, and it really means swallow, because the greater celandine certainly comes into flower about the time swallows arrive. And I'm just turning the camera around, and the whole bank here is covered in bright yellow, bright as the sun himself, with the sun reflecting off the petals there. Such a lovely sight. So there we are. That's number 2 of our early spring flowers, short day flowers we call them. And we've just got one more to do. But first of all, I've got to get myself out of this stream. Oh, there we are. And the water's flowing through nicely. Exactly what we need, and exactly what celandine's like at this time of the year. Damp, grassy banks in full sun. Beautiful.